Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we're going to be looking at this really interesting concept of healing. And, it seems like it's everywhere these days.
Yeah.
I mean, it's particularly popping up on this one platform I was looking at, Stucky.enu. They're doing some really fascinating work, I think. They're tackling, like, some of those big,
Yeah.
social issues, the things people don't always like to talk about.
Yeah. Stoic.inu is really good at getting those tough conversations going.
Yeah.
Those conversations about mental health and domestic violence and addiction, like the real nitty-gritty stuff. So
yeah.
their whole mission is to build understanding and empathy. I think that's so important, especially, in the world today.
Yeah, totally. And I was going through their stuff, and what really jumped out at me was this whole conversation they're having about healing.
Yeah.
And it goes way beyond just like, fixing a broken bone or something.
Right. They really kind of go beyond that simple definition that we often have of healing. Like, in Swedish, the word läkning, which basically translates to just healing. But they're saying it's so much more than that.
Yeah.
It's about restoring balance and harmony.
Balance and harmony.
Yeah. In your body, your mind, and your spirit.
I like that. So it's not just physical healing. It's like this deeper sense of wholeness.
Exactly. Think of it like this. There's this concept of like an inner energy or a life force that flows through us.
Okay.
Some people call it chi, some people call it prana. Even in Swedish, it's livskraft.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like this well of vitality that can get really depleted, especially when we're dealing with, stress and negativity.
Yeah.
And when that energy gets blocked, that's when things kind of get thrown off balance.
Right. So like livscraft is like our internal battery.
Yeah.
And how do we recharge it, I guess?
Yeah.
Where does healing come in?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. The idea is that these various healing techniques help to clear those energy blockages and allow our bodies to do what they do best, which is heal themselves.
Oh, so it's like we're giving our body's natural healing systems a boost.
Yeah.
But is there any scientific proof behind all this, all this energy stuff?
Well, that's where things get a bit more complex. Because while some people might be skeptical about it, there's actually some fascinating research going on in these fields, like energy medicine and the mind-body connection.
Yeah.
And they're starting to explore these things like energy channeling and how, relaxation techniques can actually maybe play a role in healing.
So even though we don't have all the answers yet, there's at least some evidence to suggest that there's something real going on.
Exactly. And what's really interesting is that even without conclusive scientific proof, people are experiencing really tangible benefits from these different healing practices.
That's what I'm really interested in. What are some of the actual methods that people are using for healing?
Well, there's a whole world of different modalities out there.
Okay.
For instance, there's Reiki, a Japanese technique that uses energy channeling through the hands to promote healing.
Reiki. Now, that's one that I've been hearing more about.
Yeah.
So how does that energy channeling actually work?
Well, in Reiki, the practitioner is kind of like a conduit for this universal life energy, and they direct that energy into the recipient to restore balance and promote healing.
So it's like they're transferring energy?
In a way, yeah. It's about tapping into a universal source of energy and then helping to facilitate its flow to support the recipient's well-being.
Okay, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
So besides Reiki, what are some other ways people are tapping into this healing energy?
Well, you've got things like crystal healing, which uses crystals, each believed to have specific energetic properties, to balance the body's energy field.
Crystals. Okay, so how does that work?
It's based on this idea that crystals vibrate at specific frequencies. And by placing them on or around the body, you can use those vibrations to harmonize and balance your own energy field.
So it's like using these crystals to fine-tune our internal energy.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it is. And then there's healing touch, which is interesting because the practitioner actually works with your energy field without even physically touching you.
Wait, so they can influence your energy without making contact?
Yeah.
How is that even possible?
Well, it's a very subtle energy practice where the practitioner uses their hands to assess and balance the energy field, promoting healing and relaxation.
Whoa, that's pretty mind-blowing. So we've got hands-on energy work like Reiki, crystals for energetic balancing, and then this hands-off approach with healing touch.
Right.
Are there any healing methods that are a bit more, ritualistic?
Definitely. Shamanic healing is an ancient practice that utilizes ceremonies, drumming, and rituals to clear negative energies and connect with spiritual guides for healing.
That sounds pretty intense.
Yeah.
So it seems like there's such a wide range of approaches to healing.
Yeah.
Is it all about, like, manipulating energy in one way or another?
Well, while a lot of modalities do involve working with energy, there are also practices that focus more on internal shifts
Oh, okay.
and cultivating awareness.
Like what?
For example, meditative or mindfulness-based healing.
Uh-huh.
These practices help you develop present moment awareness and release negative thought patterns, which promote healing from within.
So instead of focusing on, like, this external energy, it's about harnessing the power of our own minds to heal.
Exactly. And it can be just as powerful as any other healing modality.
That's so interesting. So we've got Reiki, crystals, healing touch, shamanic practices, now mindfulness.
Mm-hmm.
Are there even more types of healing out there?
Oh, absolutely. We've only just scratched the surface.
Wow.
There are countless ways to approach healing, from sound healing and aromatherapy to yoga and acupuncture.
Wow, it seems like there's truly a healing modality for everyone out there. But, like, with so many options, how do you even begin to choose the right one for you?
That's a great question, and it's one that we'll delve into further as we continue our deep dive into the world of healing. Welcome back.
You know, it's so fascinating
Yeah,
to think that there are all these different approaches to healing,
right.
but it seems like that common thread is this idea of restoring balance,
Yeah.
whether it's through, energy work or crystals or even mindfulness.
What's really interesting, too, is that healing isn't like this passive process.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like you just show up and receive a healing and poof, you're fixed.
Uh-huh.
The individual actually plays a really active role
Okay.
in their own healing.
I like that. So it's not just about what the healer does, but also how the person receiving the healing participates in the process.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the most important things someone seeking healing can do is cultivate this sense of openness and receptivity.
Openness and receptivity. So what does that actually look like in practice?
Think of it this way. If you go into a healing session with your arms crossed, both literally and figuratively,
Yeah.
you're putting up a barrier,
Uh-huh.
which makes it harder for that healing energy to flow. But when you approach the experience with a sense of curiosity and willingness, you allow yourself to receive the full benefits.
So it's about letting go of those preconceived notions and embracing the unknown.
Exactly. Being willing to surrender to the process and trust that your body knows how to heal.
Surrendering to the process, that can be hard. We like to be in control,
Oh, I hear you. But surrendering doesn't mean being passive.
Okay.
It's about actively participating in your own healing.
Yeah.
And one of the best ways to do that is through communication with your healer.
So it's a two-way street.
Totally.
The healer isn't a mind reader after all.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to speak up about, what you're experiencing, what you need, or even what you're feeling resistant to.
Yeah.
That open dialogue really helps to create a safe space for healing to happen.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's like any other relationship, communication is key. But with all this talk about energy and healing, are there any, like, downsides or risks people should be aware of?
That's a great question. While healing is generally considered to be a very safe practice,
Okay.
it's important to be discerning, especially when you're choosing a healer.
So do your research.
Yeah.
Don't just go with the first person that pops up on Google.
Exactly. Ask about their training,
Yeah.
their experience, their approach to healing. Make sure you feel comfortable and safe with them. Trust your intuition.
Yeah.
If something feels off, it probably is.
Trust your gut.
Yes.
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Exactly.
So what else should people keep in mind?
I think it's really crucial to remember that healing is not a replacement for conventional medical treatment.
Right.
So if you have a serious medical condition,
Yeah.
See a qualified doctor.
So healing can work alongside traditional medicine.
Yeah.
But it's not a substitute for it.
Precisely. It's about integrating different approaches for optimal well-being.
Right. That's an important point.
Eh.
Are there any other, like, ethical considerations when it comes to healing?
One thing that comes up is the importance of boundaries. A good and a reputable healer will always respect your personal boundaries.
Yeah.
They will never pressure you into doing anything that feels uncomfortable.
Right. You should always feel empowered to say no
Totally.
or to stop a healing session at
Yeah.
any time.
Mm-hmm.
It's your body, your journey.
And I think it's also important to remember that healing is a journey, not a destination. There's no endpoint where you suddenly, arrive and you're perfectly healthy and happy.
Yeah,
It's an ongoing process of growth and transformation.
I like that. That takes the pressure off of like having to achieve some kind of
Right.
healed state.
Yeah.
It's about embracing the process,
Yeah.
allowing ourselves to evolve over time. Yeah.
That's it, exactly. And it's within that process of healing ourselves
Uh-huh.
that we can actually start to impact the world around us.
Oh, okay. So you mentioned earlier that
Yeah.
healing isn't just about
yeah.
this individual well-being,
Huh.
but it also has to do with creating a more compassionate
Yes.
and understanding world.
Right. And that really aligns with Stokit Jatnu's mission
Yeah.
of addressing those challenging social issues that often divide us.
Uh-huh.
Think about it. So many of those issues stem from a lack of understanding,
Yeah.
compassion, and connection.
So by embracing healing, we can actually start to heal those, like societal wounds as well.
Exactly. Healing helps us to cultivate empathy and compassion,
Yeah.
which are essential for building bridges between people
Uh-huh.
and creating a more just and equitable society.
That's such a beautiful concept. So it's like this ripple effect.
Yeah.
Healing ourselves can have a positive impact
Yes.
on those around us and
Yeah.
ultimately
Yes.
contribute to a more healed world.
And that ripple effect starts with each individual's commitment to
Yeah.
their own healing journey. The more we heal ourselves,
Yeah.
the more we can contribute to this collective healing of our communities and the world at large.
That's so inspiring. It makes you realize that healing isn't just some, woo-woo, self-indulgent thing. It's actually,
It's powerful.
a powerful force for social change.
Totally. And it all comes back to recognizing that innate healing ability within each of us. If
Mhm.
everyone tapped into that power, imagine the potential.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. We've gone from exploring these different healing modalities to understanding the importance of personal responsibility and communication to now recognizing this potential for global impact.
Yeah.
It's crazy how it's all connected.
And we're not even done yet. There's so much more to uncover about this power of healing, both for ourselves and for the world.
Wow, this whole deep dive into healing has been really eye-opening for me. We started talking about unblocking energy,
Yeah.
and now we're talking about healing society. It's pretty amazing how it's all connected.
It really is. It just highlights how healing is such a multifaceted concept.
Yeah.
It's deeply personal, but it also ripples outwards, influencing our relationships and our communities and even the world around us.
Yeah, before we were talking about that ripple effect, how like our own healing journeys can contribute to a more compassionate and understanding world. It's like that idea of be the change you want to see,
Yeah.
but on a much deeper level, I think.
It is. It's about recognizing that we're not isolated individuals.
Uh-huh.
We are all interconnected beings.
Yeah.
And the energy that we put out into the world has a really tangible impact.
Right.
So as we heal ourselves, we're kind of raising this collective vibration
Yeah.
and creating a more harmonious and supportive environment for everyone.
That makes a lot of sense. But it can also feel kind of daunting.
Right.
Like, how can my individual healing journey really make a difference, when you look at all the challenges that the world is facing?
I hear you. And I think the key is to remember that even those small acts of healing
Uh-huh.
can have a really profound impact.
Okay.
Think about it. A smile,
Yeah.
a kind word, a listening ear. Those seemingly insignificant gestures
Yeah.
can shift energy, create connection, and foster a sense of belonging.
So it's not just about these big
Right.
dramatic healing experiences. It's also about those everyday
Exact.
acts of kindness and compassion.
Those small acts are like seeds of healing that we plant in the world.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good analogy.
And as those seeds take root and grow,
Yeah.
they create this ripple effect that inspires others to do the same.
So we each have this power to be like gardeners of healing,
Yes.
tending to our own inner gardens,
Yes.
and then sharing the fruits of our labor with the world.
Exactly. And as we cultivate more of that healing energy within ourselves,
Yeah.
we naturally become these beacons of light that illuminate the path for others to follow.
That's beautiful. This whole conversation has really shifted my perspective on healing. It's not just about fixing what's broken. It's about nurturing and cultivating wholeness in ourselves, in our relationships, and in the world around us.
And that journey of cultivating wholeness
Yeah.
begins with each of us. It's about taking those small steps, making those conscious choices,
Hmm.
showing up in the world with an open heart
Yeah.
and a willingness to heal.
This deep dive has given me a lot to think about, and I hope it's given you a lot to think about too.
Yeah.
If you're feeling inspired to explore this idea of healing further, remember that there are so many resources and modalities out there.
Definitely.
Take some time to research and experiment and find what really resonates with you.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to reach out for support,
Yeah.
whether it's a trusted friend, a qualified healer, or even like a supportive online community,
Yeah.
There are so many people out there who can guide you and support you on your healing journey.
Well, thank you so much for listening to our deep dive into the world of healing. This has been a really enlightening conversation.
Yeah, it has.
And just remember, the journey of healing is this ongoing process of growth, discovery, and transformation. So embrace it, trust it, and just let it unfold in its own beautiful way.